Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the stream, and today I have got an interesting little thing for you here. So we are going to be taking a look at GalaCollider. It's an upcoming game that's currently on Kickstarter. In fact, it actually just started a couple of hours ago. So with me on the stream right now are two of the developers from Neocrux Games, the team behind GalaCollider, and we're going to be taking a look at this title and talking a bit about it. So, hello to Nina and Trevor. Welcome to the stream.
Hey, thanks for having us on it.
All right. So,
hello, good to be here.
So, first things first, I want to actually join a game. So, do we have a game running right now?
Yeah, I have a game up. You just hit start/join there, and then hit join game.
Okay. Is there a particular team that I should be playing first?
You can be either faction. We got two right now. We have Coalition, is like the human faction, and then we got the Silith, which is like your alien faction. So pick whichever one you prefer.
All right, I think I'm gonna go with the Coalition. I'm more of a sort of Terran type player, more favor the humans a little bit more. All right, so
all right, great.
That. Just hit join, I guess.
Yeah, hit the join button and you'll hop right in.
All right. Okay, yep. So this is the game right now. I've got an Earth-like planet, so I guess that. Yep. That's what I would have expected, actually, being the humans being on the actual Earth planet there. So, all right, talk me through it. What is GalaCollider exactly? What are we looking at right here?
All right, so GalaCollider is like a 4X digital card game. Now, what that means is you got like the 4X elements, like we got a map and you're trying to kind of conquer the map. Like there's different couple ways to win. You're either trying to, say, take over the enemy's homeworld, you're trying to get all the 50 stars, you see in the top left to start with 10 out of 50, or you're trying to like contest all your opponent's areas all at once, which means having like an attacking ship on it. And the idea of it's also a card game, because you can see you have a hand, you have like a 24 card deck on the right there, you can see you have a deck. You have a discard pile. You also, on the bottom left, if you click that little button, it opens up like a tech pool.
Yep, I'm seeing that.
So the idea is like you got two going on at the same time.
Okay. Alright, so if we compare the two, this is, I guess, in the 4X genre, which is not a genre that I'm too familiar with or have played a lot of, but if we compare this to some of the big names out there, like, well, there was Sins of the Solar Empire, I remember correctly, and Civilization. Where does that kind of fit into it? What's different about GalaCollider, aside from, I guess we're talking about the card game elements there?
Yeah, well, Civilization obviously is all pure strategy, right? Like you have a preset, like kind of say build order you can execute. And when you're playing something like this, you have a lot of different options, and you can kind of adjust your deck to then adjust what you do. And let's say you're both playing Coalition. Like in this game, we're both Coalition, but we could have different decks that differentiates how we play and how we look. And also our tech pool, those cards that you can buy on the left side there, they also alter your deck and can completely change up your strategy on the fly too. So it ends up being quite a bit different from a 4X game, because it's not so much, let's say, doing the same thing every time. Rather, every game could play out differently depending on how you look at things.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely having a look through some of these cards here, and I can see a couple that look like, I guess, abilities or structures that we can build, and some of them are ships. So I guess we play, instead of building units, we sort of play the card, and that's the unit that we put onto the field.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, let's say I play a building, that building will then become an actual like building unit on the board. The same as playing a ship card, it becomes like a 3D model on the board.
Okay, so in the sense, people who are familiar with games like Hearthstone, where you play a beast card or a hero card, for example, or something like that, you get that as an actual unit to play on the board. All right, that's actually pretty easy to understand. I think I've actually got that pretty quickly, and I'm not the sort of person that picks up on that very fast. Now, I must stress to people who are watching right now that this is still in, I guess, very early alpha stage. Everything that you're seeing here, even the art that on the cards is actually really nice, is still what we would say is a work in progress?
Yeah,
It's all
this
still...
is definitely pre-beta.
Okay. So, what we're going to play right now, if we're looking at this, how close would you say this is to completion, at least in terms of the actual mechanics and how it's being built?
Well, it's definitely well on its way to completion. It's just, honestly, it's a lot more like, say, UI enhancements, card types, and different other features we want to add. The base game is coming along quite nicely, actually. It's really kind of stable at this point. We've actually got a couple new versions past this one, too, so it's gotten even more kind of stable and good and solid. So we're kind of happy with how our one-on-one game's playing, but there's definitely a lot more in the pipeline to kind of implement.
Alright, so what I'm looking at right now, so what would you say is, I guess the turns, are there particular phases that we have to play, or what should I be doing first?
The way the game works is we are taking simultaneous turns. This means we're both kind of going at the same time. And there's two different phases. There's the explore phase. If you look in the top right, it says explore green for you right now. So we know it's like the explore phase going on. And then if we ever enter a battle where we're both in the same sector at the same time, that'll be a battle phase we'll have on that turn. And then those are like the two simple phases of the game. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, a lot of turns honestly only have an explore phase because there is no battles. So you'll pick it up pretty easy in that regard. So what you want to do at the start of a game is, on your map there you can see you have two colony ships. You start with these two colony ships. Now, colony ships are used to colonize other sectors because they have that nifty little colonize module on them. You also notice that if you click on them, they don't have any attack value. They only got 3 health, so they're really just used for taking over these blue unoccupied sectors. So the idea generally is what you want to do right away is take those colony sectors and drag and drop them to the other planets so you can start taking stuff over.
Alright, so I'm going to move one of my colony ships over to another one. Alright, he's gone over there. Do I want to move both? Or is there a reason I want to hold them back or anything like that? Or
no, generally you do want to move them both right away. You want to kind of get them out there.
Alright.
And even on turn 1, honestly, what I like to do is after I move my 2 colony ships, which will spend 2 energy, you'll notice in the top right you're using up 1 energy each time you move them because it costs 1 energy to move a colony ship. When you should probably build a colony ship right after, get a 3rd one out so you can take yet another place, because you just want to kind of expand, because for every place you take, your resources produced each turn will actually go up and up and up, because each sector produces its own resource numbers on the bottom there. You can see, like your homeworld produces 4, 4, 4 of each, so 4 of everything. Also has 1 infantry defense, it's a little fist icon. And the wrench icon's interesting, because that means that the sector can build ships. Your homeworld can always build ships to start. To build ships elsewhere, you'll actually need to build a shipyard to do that. And you'll notice that you tried to move your colony ship and it didn't let you. That's because you just built it this turn. You gotta wait a turn before your ships can move. They got that little icon there saying it's gotta prepare first.
Okay, so yeah, again, like I guess the one that I've played the most of would be Hearthstone. Again, when you play most unit cards, it won't let you move them immediately. Then, all right.
Yeah.
So it's pretty similar in that sense. Do all ships placed have that ready time, or are there going to be some that don't require it?
You know, in the future there likely will be some that don't require it, but for now all the ships in our like demo decks that we're playing, they're going to be having prepare phases, so they gotta wait a turn. Okay.
So now that I've got a 3rd ship out, and I've got 2 colony ships at other planets now, what are we looking at doing from here?
Alright, so if you look at your resources, you got 2 materials and 2 research. You have a couple options. Now you might look at your hand and say, well, I can't really play anything, I don't seem to have the right amount of resources. But if you click on any of your resources in the top right there, it'll open up in a little exchange window, where if you want, you might want to exchange around resources. For example, you could trade your 2 research for 1 material, because they all exchange rate's always 2 to 1, or you could change your 2 research for 1 energy. If you do it the way where you get 1 material, you could build that gun battery that's in your hand. If you were to get the energy, you could build the ship that's in your hand.
Okay.
It's basically like, do you want the building, or do you want the ship?
I've actually done it completely wrongly. So what I've actually done there is I've clicked the arrows twice, and it's transferred them back and forth. And now I can't do that anymore. But I can kind of see what you mean. It has that exchange rate. So one
Yeah.
it's never going to be one-to-one.
There's certain cards actually in your tech pool that will let you do a 1-to-1 trade, but it starts off as 2-to-1. Yeah.
Okay, so that there was a mistake on my part.
It's fine actually. That does happen. People are just like playing with the buttons, pretending to like see what they do, and then they go whoops, and like
Yeah,
you get the hang of it.
No, I wasn't expecting it to be permanent. Alright,
Yeah, and on
so...
the right there as well, the other option that you did have if you had kept the 2 research is if you clicked your deck there, that little research icon, it would have let you draw an extra card from your deck for 2 research. So any point in time if you have a lot of research and you're like, hey, you know what, I just need to dig through my deck, you can just keep buying cards from your deck and keep drawing more. But you have
I
to
see.
also recall
Yep.
that your tech pool there, if you click that button again and open it up, each of those cards has their own little cost associated with them. The Tech 2 card is 4 research, and the Tech 3 card is 8 research. So you kind of have to manage, like, do I want to just keep drawing cards in my deck, or maybe I want to start buying these more powerful cards in my Tech pool. Because the Tech pool tends to be, like, better than your starting cards in your deck. They're always, like, big, powerful options in the late game.
Okay. So
Now, the way it works is, let's say you bought that Tech 3 card down there, that big, scary Dreadnought. If you bought him for 8 research, he would go to your discard pile. And you wouldn't draw that card until it gets from your discard pile into your deck. Now what happens is when your deck is empty, you'll shuffle your discard pile into a new deck that now has your Tech 2 and Tech 3 cards in it that you bought. So it's kind of like on your second draw through, you're going to be like powerful cards all existing.
Oh, that's actually kind of nice, yeah.
And a nifty little trick that you can take advantage of is when you build a ship or a development, it doesn't go right to your discard pile as a card. It becomes a unit on the board. It's only when the unit is destroyed that the card goes to the discard pile. So you can actually like thin out your deck and make it so that your deck the cards remaining are only like the powerful things you want to play. All like say the weaker cards can be already thrown out on the board, so your deck's thinner.
Okay. Alright, so now that I've made that mistake with the trade there, is there anything else I can do this turn?
At this point, you just want to hit done, and now you'll notice that when you do try to hit done on the top left there to end your turn, it's going to say to you, hey, you got more than 6 cards in your hand. Because you can only have 6 cards in your hand at the end of a turn. So in other words, you got to discard. Now looking at your hand, you have 7, so you have to discard at least 1 card. To discard, you can either drag and drop a card onto your discard pile, or you can click a card and then hit the little red trash can icon twice.
Okay, so I think I've got a lot of ships in here. I think I probably don't want to get rid of a colony ship yet.
Well, the way a colony ship works is actually interesting. You can't discard a colony ship, and when you build a colony ship, it always immediately replaces itself with another colony ship. We like to have in the game have it up so that you always have a colony ship so you can always expand when you feel like you need to. Now we counteract that by making the cost in the colony ship slowly start increasing.
Ah, okay, gotcha. So in that case, the cards that I can get rid of are either the heatsink, gun battery, or any one of the other ships that I've got here.
Yes.
So in this case, I guess I probably want to get rid of either the gun battery or one of the smaller ships.
You could. I would say you could safely get rid of like the heat sinks. You know, battle's not going to happen. That's an op. Ops are like one-time effects. So you could be like, I don't need that. I want ships and devs for now. Or you could be like, hey, I have 2 dreadnoughts. I don't need doubles. So you could throw away one of those. Even though your dreadnoughts are your big, powerful ships, it's really early in the game. They're quite expensive. You might not want to right now.
Oh, okay, yeah. So there's no way I'm going to be able to play one of those too soon. So I think based on the production I've got, it'd probably take about 2 turns to get one of those out, right?
Well, the way it works is your resources actually always get reset back to the base production value each turn. So you do want to try and spend everything each turn you have. But when you take over these other planets, you'll instantly get the resources they provide added to your stockpile. So you will be able to build a dreadnought soon enough. The issue is more it'll take all your resources in that turn when you do build it. And then you have to move it to me. And as you can see, there has a little icon on the left there beside its name, that 3. That's 3 energy each time you move it, so it's quite expensive to move it. It might be better, say, to build it where you build a shipyard, so it has like more of a forward push, so it doesn't cost as much.
Okay. So in this case, yep, I'm gonna get rid of one of the dreadnoughts. How do I do that again?
You can either drag and drop it onto your discard pile, or click your dreadnought, and then there's a little trash can icon on the top right will show up. You can hit that twice.
Alright, so that's right there. Okay, so click the trash can, and click again to confirm. Alright, so that dreadnought is gone. I've got 6 cards now. I think.
Yeah, and now you can hit done, and it'll end your turn.
All right. Okay, so now that you're on Kickstarter, how much are you looking to raise? And can you ever give us a bit of an idea of where that money is going to go to?
Sure, Nina, you want to jump in on that one?
Yeah, actually, I can probably answer that. So right now we're looking at 70,000, and most of the money, of course, I think like around 50% of it, so off the top of my head, is gonna go towards art and programming, of course. Because as you can see, like our art, it's functional, but of course it could be a lot better. We already have a prototype in place of how we would want to redo the UI. It's really just a matter of time and money at this point.
Okay. And what about stretch goals? And what are you looking at for that?
Stretch goals wise, so for me personally, the stretch goal I'm most excited for is that we want to go on Android as well, because right now we're only planning, at least initially, to launch on PC, Mac, and iPad, but we'd also like to be on Android as well. And the issue with Android is just that since Android has so many different screen resolutions, we have to like test for each different resolution and make sure the game works fine and like all the UI is functional in there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing what you mean. I mean, the game seems to be functioning pretty well, and unlike a lot of, even at this early stage, pre-alpha games, I'm not noticing too many bugs or anything. In fact, I didn't have any trouble whatsoever starting it up and getting into the game. So it's already looking very promising even on that front. And what we're looking at now is, I guess, like you said, looking at expanding the game and kind of bringing more art and such into it, and refining it so more polished along the way as well. What are you thinking about in terms of the design process? Because I have seen a little bit of the concept art and some of the work in progress stuff. What's your actual sort of thought process behind the design of things like ships and the overall game? Like, what's the inspiration and all that behind the game?
Well, basically, with GalaCollider here, we were trying to create kind of a hybrid between a card game and a 4X game. We wanted to be able to make a fun and interactive digital card game, but then also have really strong 4X elements and have some kind of like a map that you can kind of conquer and that you can do the 4X, expand, exploit, explore, exterminate, do all that stuff in there too. So we wanted to be able to produce these different ships that had different identities and make it so that they can be like your own thing, but at the same time also be in card form. Because, for example, we have plans to have mod cards at some point, and they'll have, like, say, blueprints where you can actually attach modules onto existing ships to try and alter them to your liking. The idea being that you could adjust the strategy to fit whatever build you like best. Oh, and in terms of gameplay, you notice how you have the little sectors there with the swirling red? That's telling you that you have a colony ship in the area and that you can actually take over that planet. So what you should do is drag and drop the colony ship on top of those sectors and it'll take them over for you. Like you can notice I've done it on my side because I have the 3 red planets now over there. That's letting you know that I've actually colonized other stuff.
Right, okay. I actually completely missed that when I saw. I was wondering about that, actually. It looked more,
Yeah, it's the game trying to tell you, like, hey, you can colonize this.
Okay. So, I'm guessing it's your turn now?
Yeah, I'm still just... Let me just quickly finish up this move. Alright, what do I want to do? I will... Let's draw some cards, yes. Cards. Discard this. Gotta get down to 6. There we go. I'm gonna hit done now. It should jump to the next turn. There we go.
Alright, so now I definitely see what you mean with the red swirls around that. So,
yeah.
How exactly do I colonize? Now that I've got my ship in the area, right?
Yeah, just click on that sector, and then take your colony ship there. You're going to drag and drop it right on top of the planet.
Gotcha. Right. So that's been taken over. So that's something I could have done the last turn then.
Yes, you could have done it the last turn, but obviously you didn't know quite yet. Now you know.
Now I know. Yeah. Okay, so the other one that... Oh, I didn't actually put a colony ship on it. I thought I did.
As you can see, you are now taking them over, and right as you're taking them over, you'll notice your resources is going up, and your stars are going up.
Oh, yes.
So you're getting both closer to winning the game, and you have more production for later.
So the overall, I guess, scoring system is still based on that sort of domination-style score, in terms of actual points.
Yeah. The stars come from building developments as well as taking over worlds. So if you just expand and expand and expand and really build a bunch of developments, you could honestly sit back, not fight the opponent, and just kind of passively gain stars to victory if you feel like it. But of course, an aggressive opponent, let's say he's invading your planets, let's say he's destroying your developments, your stars will be going back down.
Ah, okay. So that's a sort of thing where I would probably look at going, building a strong support base, and then only trying to have a conflict on the fringe of it, I guess? Looking at that sort of strategy.
You could try and play it like defensively if you want.
I think that's probably what I'll try to do, to be frank, because I'm not the best at managing a war, I guess, in these sorts of games. I was terrible at it in Sins, that's for sure.
Actually, if you look at this particular map, it really does lend itself to kind of playing defensively, because there's only that one major line towards the opponent, like towards me. So if you're defending that one area, that choke point, essentially, that actually lends itself to a really defensive play. You can try and just build developments in your core area here, hold off that one key choke point, and then, like, build up.
Yeah, I actually noticed that, so I started moving ships there. I'm like, oh, I probably should try and hold this one. So, actually, just a side note about the map. So this map is a test map, or is it sort of randomly generated?
Yeah, it actually just tosses up a bunch of randomly generated maps, so I could host another 12-sector map with you right after this, and it could look completely different. It just so happens that this map has the little super choke point. Next map we could have like 3 connections to each other, and then it's like, you know, not as easy to choke point it up.
God, yeah. Yeah, I can see that this is going to be quite heavily contested right there. Okay. Let's see what else I can do here. So, I've got a couple of combat ships already up. Can I buy anything? I can't get any research just yet. Is there anything? Oh, I could probably put some more frigates out. Why not? We like frigates.
Yeah, everyone likes frigates. I mean, I got some frigates out too. So if you actually, if you click on your homeworld, it actually has an ability that specifically increases the attack of your dreadnoughts, your big powerful ships, gives them 1 extra attack. So your dreadnoughts normally would have 4 attack, but thanks to your core world, it's actually giving you 5 attack.
Wow, okay. So it's kind of yeah, an incentive to use the big capital ships then.
Yeah.
Alright.
And I can see there you just played an op to gain infantry defense in a sector. Honestly, that's not so useful because I'm not invading you in this particular turn. If I was invading you, that could be like useful, because invading means I'm playing a ship on you that has like the fist icon module, an invasion module. I don't think you have any in your hand right now. But if I was, and then you had that op, and you're like, this guy's gonna try and throw 2 troops at me, you could throw out your module, your op there, to increase your infantry defense, make me lose an invasion attempt, and then once I lose an attempt on an invader, that invader's troops are permanently gone. So if they had 2 and I used my 2 up, they're gone now. So you tricked me out, made me waste my guys. That could happen.
Right. Okay. So that's another mistake on my part. Then I wasn't too sure about that one. I was looking like that seems like something I can do.
You tossed it out. It worked. You can see on that planet it has 1 infantry defense now, so it worked. It's just there's nothing invading it, so it's not gonna help quite yet.
Right, okay, so infantry defense is the red fist icon on the side?
Yeah, that's letting you know how many troops you have defending that sector. And then my ship would have its fist icon of its own that would let you know how many troops I have trying to invade the sector.
So the homeworld always has...
a double blind bid system where we both can kind of bid at each other and see how it goes. And yes, the homeworld always starts off with 1. If you click on the homeworld card, it actually has a base value of 1 defense on it. Most sectors have 0, some have more than 0. Some have like 1 or 2. The homeworlds always have 1.
Right, okay. Let's see, I haven't colonized that one. Alright, I think I'm going to end that turn there.
Alright. And you might also notice that as you're moving ships onto those sectors, you notice that little number under a sector says like 5 or 4, and your homeworld there it says like 0. That's your command value. Now, the way command works is each ship you have takes up a certain amount of command. So a frigate takes up 1 command of the 5, a cruiser takes up 2 of the 5 command, and a dreadnought takes up 3. Now that's the maximum amount of ships you can have there. Once all 5 commands are used up, you can't have any more ships in that area. So dreadnought's taking up like a lot of space, so frigate's taking up little space.
Okay, so that's just there to kind of prevent me from piling ships onto one place, I guess.
Yeah, it's so you don't have, say, like 3 dreadnoughts in one area, and you're like, ha ha ha, you can't come through here ever.
Yeah, I've noticed, okay, now we've got an attack going on at this particular choke point we were talking about earlier.
We have a definite battle happening here. Okay, so it's frigate on frigate. Now to attack, click on your ship, then click on my ship, and then click my ship again, and a little red line and a crosshair show up. That means you've set your attack to go. When your attack is done, we're going to hit done, and then we're going to blast each other.
And this is also where I can put ops like heatsink on as well if I want to.
Yes, this is exactly when you'd use it. If you want to use heatsink, you could do it right now to do an extra point, 2 points of damage. It would kill my guy, honestly. Right now, he's going to live with 1 health remaining because your guy's 1 attack to my frigate's 2 health. The module torpedoes only applies to cruisers and dreadnoughts. You do an extra 2 damage to them, because on a frigate you're not going to. However, my frigate has the pulse module, which is going to do extra damage to frigates, which you are, so I'll be doing 2 to you.
Okay, yeah.
Also worth noting is that pin module I have there. Pin, it makes my frigate can pin other frigates. That means your frigate won't be able to move next turn if my guy's like here pinning you.
Okay.
Bombard that you have, Bombard is used to attack developments. Bombard of 1 means you can shoot a development for 1 damage.
Alright, so yeah, so pin is basically like a warp scrambler or something to stop them running away.
Exactly, it's sort of like saying, fight me, don't run.
Alright, so...
It's depending on ship size. So if I had a dreadnought with pin, it pins everything. If I have a frigate with pin, it can only pin frigates, because you can't pin something bigger than it.
Okay, so I think I'm going to play the heatsink there. I want to win this fight.
Alright, yeah, go ahead then, just click on heatsink and drop it on me and then I'll get blasted. Okay, let's see what happened there.
Alright, so we had a bit of an exchange there. And the battle will still continue, I guess, until...
Yeah, it keeps going, and it'll be... Next turn we'll have another battle phase, the next turn we'll have another battle phase, and you'll notice that the damage you've dealt to me will just keep applying. It'll keep sticking.
Yep, alright, I can definitely see that. So we're both on 1 health right now.
Yeah, we've taken a beating.
So while this is happening, of course, I can still play cards in other sectors and move stuff around.
Because we always have an explore phase where you can build up again, and then we'll head into another battle phase where we'll fight again. And if you want, you can like reinforce that spot. You can just drop more ships in there and keep the fight going. And one other thing that's important to note is notice how there's that little swirl around that sector now? It's not like a red swirl, but there's a little white swirl.
Yep.
That's letting you know the sector is contested. Now, contested means you can't build ships or devs there. And as I told you before, if you contest all of an enemy's sectors, you just win the game outright. That's one of the 3 ways to win.
Okay. So keep them in a sort of state of eternal conflict, if you will.
Yeah, it's sort of like you almost get them in like a checkmate spot where you're like, once you checkmated them, all their stuff is stuck, they can't build anything, you're like, okay, I win now.
Right, okay, so I've gone to try and reinforce that sector there. I'm having a look around if there's anything else I can possibly bring out. I probably want to get that. So all of the research cards are now going into my deck, right? So on possibly the next turn that could be drawn out.
Oh, it goes into your discard pile, and then when your deck is empty, your discard pile will shuffle into a new deck.
Right, okay. So that will not happen immediately. Right now I'm looking at it, I've got 12 in the discard pile and 20 in my deck.
Yeah, not quite yet. So you'd want to draw more cards. You know, you can spend research to draw cards if you want. You can do the exchange rate on the top right. You could trade around other resources to research and keep drawing more and more and more and try to empty it out a bit. That's always the key, is trying to use your resources as efficiently as possible. So obviously exchanging them around to draw a bunch of cards might be part of your, like, that might be crucial to your game plan.
Yeah, and I've also just noticed, as far as I can tell, only my homeworld has the ability to build ships, so on this particular map, then it'd be really crucial to kind of pump them out as quickly as I can to get them moving.
Yeah, you want to get moving quick, or on one of those sectors near that choke point, having a shipyard there. I don't think you have one in your hand right now, but if you had a shipyard and building one of those down would be really important too.
Yeah, I don't have that at the moment, but yeah, I can see that that would be really useful as well, being able to pop ships out in other sectors. Although right now, with that choke point, I guess this particular map might not be the best example for that.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely, as long as you keep getting ships to that choke point and you just hold it off, it'll be fine. You don't need a shipyard in that regard, but even saving one turn worth of movement can be worth it. Even having a shipyard one spot closer to it could be important. And let's say I contest your homeworld. What happens if I contest your homeworld right now, right? You'd have nowhere to build.
Gotcha,
yeah.
So
you really do kind of want that shipyard somewhere.
So you really do want to pin somebody down. I've just noticed as well, I've opened the research tab there. So I've got the Frontier base card, and I guess that will allow me to build.
That has the shipyard effect. It does. It's a tech card that basically does what a shipyard does.
But what you're saying is that's not the only card that does that. Yeah,
there's the shipyard, there's the Frontier base, is like another shipyard effect, and it also has 3 attack and 3 infantry defense on the card, you'll notice, so it's like really good at both defending a sector and pumping out ships in that sector.
Okay, so right now I think I've played all that I can play for now. Gonna hand that over to you then.
Alrighty.
So now that that explore phase is over, now we're going through your explore phase, and then we'll have the battle phase. Yep.
Yeah, I'm done too. I just hit done, and now we're in a fight. So let's see, what do I want to do this time? So you'll notice that I have the Liberator ship I just threw at you. That guy is actually an invader.
Yeah.
And so that's scary. He has the fist icon. He might try to steal stuff from you, but he's also a cruiser. So now your Phoenix ship there can actually attack him for extra damage with the torpedoes. So your Phoenix would hit him for 3 instead of 1.
Okay, so I'm going to attack that way, and I think... yeah.
And what's important to note about my Liberator there is that it has Retaliate. Retaliate means that when you attack him, it automatically deals 1 damage back to you.
So, in any case, in this particular engagement, this frigate I have here, the Phoenix, is going to be killed.
Oh, most likely, yeah. If you're attacking my Liberator, it's going to die.
But in doing so, it will still deal...
it'll deal 3 damage to him, so I'll have 2 left. So I'll be quite injured. So it's still like a fine play.
And in this case, the rock is... well, it's evenly matched with the other one, but it probably will survive this. Alright, let's see how this plays out. I've got no ops to play, I'm going for it.
Oh, they're all blowing each other up.
Alright, it looks like I lost both ships there.
Yeah, I managed to set it up so that you would lose both, because obviously the retaliation would kill the one guy, so I'm just like, I'll just shoot the other dude with both my dudes and let the retaliate kill the other one off.
Good play. That's definitely a good play there. Alright, so the research pile has been reshuffled, so I don't have that Frontier base, which would be very nice to have right now.
Yeah, every turn it's always cycling in new cards.
Okay, and that's an interesting one. Alright, so if we're looking at, for any potential backers that are watching right now, would there be a playable demo similar to what we've got here for them to try out?
We don't have a public demo right yet, but obviously if you back the game, there is the beta access, and you can get Kickstarter access to a demo that way. So yeah, eventually, for sure, but not yet.
Okay, so yeah, for anyone watching right now, that is coming at some point. It will be coming.
In the future.
In the future.
Or as said, soon, trademark.
Yes. That's a phrase even content creators will use.
Of course.
For sure. Alright, And with this, are you trying mainly to target, I guess, for fans of the 4X genre, or are you hoping to maybe have it such that, you know, I guess people who aren't so much fans of the genre to be kind of enticed by the idea?
Oh, definitely. I mean, this isn't just a 4X game, it's like a 4X card game, and one of the ways I would say we're actually targeting other members of the community in general is, well, a digital game like this, you'll actually notice that, let's say Civilization, for example. Civilization games can take like hours upon hours to finish, where a 12-sector map like this, if both of us know what we're doing and we're just playing, this game could be done in like 30 minutes. So right away it has like a certain appeal that could appeal to, say, a more casual 4X player or a casual card game player who could jump into 4X that they don't normally play and enjoy it, because it's not like the super complex, long, gritty, like almost hardcore like gameplay you'd find in some of these other 4X games. I feel it has a lot more cross appeal because of that.
I would tend to agree, actually. I think looking at it with just the cards on the screen here, and frankly, I find it a lot easier, actually, to understand what's going on. Because normally with 4X games, I know there's so much going on that I very frequently get lost in it. But looking at this, it's a very simple layout, and with the cards telling you exactly this does this and that does that, it is so much easier to kind of see where you're going with it and where to play things. I mean, it's literally just dragging and dropping them onto the screen.
Yeah, and we've tried to make the game like that on purpose. We wanted it to be simple, intuitive, like forward, like a game you could just play and pick up, so it's not, say, as confusing. Because I know the first time that I played Civ 5, definitely it's like, you know, steep learning curve. You're like, there's so much to look at and learn, like, it takes a while. A game like this, you can look at it and you can pick it up within your first 1 or 2 play sessions and be like, oh, I get it now, and just kind of go with it and enjoy it.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because I think the word the word accessibility is thrown around very often, but when it's done well, it definitely can help quite a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Alright, so let's see what we did here. So we just moved on to a new turn, and you'll notice that I actually managed to get an invader on your planet, and there's nothing here, so no battle phase this turn, and he's just snuck right in there.
Yeah, about that. Okay, so all of my fleet is in the wrong place right now.
Yeah, sadly they went to exactly the wrong area. Yeah, because I went up and you went down, so I was like, whoops. And that's actually a big part of GalaCollider's gameplay and kind of how it works. Is in this game there's actually a lot of preempting, because you'll notice that if you look on like my red stuff there, you notice like the triangles and the circles and all that. Those are blips letting you know that there's ships or developments in the area. And those blips give you an idea of the ability to, say, like, predict where you think an opponent might go. See, like, I know, for example, that you have 3 ships down there in that area on my screen, because I see 3 triangles, so I'm like, I know he has 3 ships there, it's a very full place, I'll just go elsewhere. Or maybe I want to be like, no, I won't go elsewhere, I'll go to there, maybe you'll move your ships, and I think you're going to move them, so I move my ships there, and there's a lot of, like, multi-layered thinking you can kind of do in the game.
Yeah. And at the same time, I guess, because they're just blips, if I actually try to go over to one of your systems there, I still see the blip. I don't know what's actually there.
Yeah, you don't know what's there, but you have an idea of something that could be there. But what's actually most interesting is that it just so happens that the sectors that are that choke point area, they are actually obscured sectors, and obscured means that you don't see any blips. And it's really important that it's on a choke point, because that means the place I'm basically attacking you from is completely invisible to you. You don't know I'm there.
Right. It's a good place for an ambush.
Ships in on you, and you don't notice.
Good place for an ambush, definitely. Right, so I have a colony ship there. I probably don't want to send that in blind.
Yeah, probably. Maybe not. Maybe not. Or, I mean, you could. The colony ship. At this point, a colony ship is only really useful for taking those unoccupied areas. There's only like 2 left on the map, it looks like.
Yeah, in fact, I might actually try to do that. Hopefully that works. Alright, so I have actually moved a ship into that sector, but I guess... will there be a battle phase this time?
You do have a card in your hand, Deep Space Detection, that up there with the little face. You can use that on that sector to reveal it. it'll give you information, and then you could see what's obscured and be like, oh, there's a ship here I didn't know.
Right, so I've actually done that, and yep, okay, so I'm looking at it, there's a shipyard and a dreadnought over there. That's
Yeah, so now
fun.
you know it looked empty, and you're like, oh, there's nothing here, and then you're like, hey, wait, he actually has the ability to produce ships in this exact spot, and there's a big scary ship there.
Yeah, that's not going to be fun to deal with.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I was kind of saying to you earlier, is that's the kind of thing you'd want to go for on this map, is have a shipyard like right there on that choke point, because it'd be really good for you. It also just kind of helped that, ironically, it was also an obscured area, so you don't even know there's a shipyard built there, but there is.
Yeah, well, I know it now. I definitely know it now. Right, okay, so I probably want to try and transfer that. I'm really just fighting for resources right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. That mining station you have will help. It gives you extra resources each turn, and then you can also trade around as much as possible to build whatever it is you need to build.
Okay, I think that should do for that turn. Okay. Alright, so we've got two battle phases going on.
Yeah, and you notice that invader, he successfully just stole that planet from you. So that means you lost 5 stars from losing that planet, and I got 5 stars from taking that planet. So you probably know I'm close to 50 right now.
Oh yeah, that is one thing as well. We don't have a way to see how much the other players have in terms of how many stars they...
Yeah, not in this version. Actually, in the most recent version, you do have the ability to tell, but in this current version of the game, you don't. If it was completely up to date, then you would be able to see the star count that I have on top of my homeworld. I will be nice though and tell you that I have 45 right now out of 50.
Right. Okay. Actually, I was about to ask whether that's actually deliberate, because not being able to see how close somebody is to winning, would you say that's good or...
Yeah, at first we tried with it not showing, and you're like, yeah, you know what, I think it's better if you do see. I mean, if you've played the game enough, you'd already have an idea that I'm very close to winning right now. You'd be like, oh, certainly he is. So you might as well, because then the new players helps out better, where a good player would know anyways.
Right, yeah, actually, that is a very good point. Okay, so we've got a battle now. Which one do I want to tackle first? So this sector has a dreadnought in it, and this one has a cruiser. So we've got a cruiser versus a cruiser here. And let's see. I've got a much higher attack rating here.
My Liberator guy doesn't really have much in the way of attack. He only has like that 1 attack value.
Right. And I'm looking at it as well. I do have an op that I want to play, but I don't think I want to use it here.
No, not there. No way. You already got that Liberator dead. You don't need it. You don't need the 2 damage. So, if anything, it would be on the Dreadnought, but you already have 3 ships attacking it, so depends on how the math works out, I suppose.
Right, so the Dreadnought does have 1 Retaliate. Now, a question is, will the Retaliate affect any ship that hits it, or just the first one?
Yeah, it's any ship that hits it. It's basically like, say, like a Thorns aura, anything that hits it will pick it right back. Yep. Always getting hit back.
Okay, so I think I want to play the op here, and
that poor colony ship's just sitting there like, what am I doing here?
Yeah, he does not know what's going on. It's like there's loud noises outside. Oh, that poor colony ship.
Yeah, I had to down him. I'm like, I can't let you have this area. It's too important.
It's okay. I would do the same thing.
Good to know.
So all's fair, you know. All's fair.
Yes, definitely. And at this point, it's actually kind of interesting because you have those 2 ships left over, right? So you could be like, all right, I'll use these defensively. But one of them was a Liberator, was an Invader. So maybe you want to throw them at my sector and try and steal it back from me. You could jump to my side of the choke point and just push right in and be like counter-aggressive.
Oh, so if there's a battle, there's a contested sector, I can still move through it. That's not stopping
Yep,
me.
as long as you're not pinned. Remember, the pin module can stop you. As long as you're not pinned, though, you can just jump right through. And that's part of, again, the preempting in the game. It's like you can choose to stay and fight, or you could move back, or you could even move forward.
Right, I'm going to try this once I've got the energy to do it. Okay, so... Oh, hang on. I had forgotten about the trade. Right, I'm going to do that.
Yes, you can definitely trade around resources. Handy ability to have.
And... let's see if there's anything else I can do at this stage. I think... let's put another mining station up, and... gun battery. I don't know why I'm saying this out loud, but... oh, it's fine, you'll see it, you'll see it. It doesn't matter. Okay, so... now the tricky question.
Yeah.
And for any developer or any potential game developer looking at doing Kickstarter, supposing the campaign doesn't go as successfully as you hope for, what's the contingency plan? So what's going to happen to GalaCollider then?
The game will actually be released whether it does make the funding target or not. It's just obviously if it doesn't make the funding target, you'd get a release that would come, say, later with less features, and we'd have to get funding elsewhere. We'd have to maybe look into like investors or that sort of thing. So it would change up the game, but we would still end up having a game. It's just, it would slow things down, I would say. That's the biggest detriment. But we do have a contingency plan in place, so we'll barrel through it if need be, you know? We'll make it happen.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what people will want to hear, is that, yeah, regardless of the campaign itself, that the game will one day still come out. It's not a case of it's all or nothing, which I guess is kind of a whole different kettle of fish, really. it's a kind of a touchy subject in many cases. So,
yeah, definitely.
where are you looking at releasing the game? Is it going onto Steam, PC, maybe mobile platforms as well, or where we're looking at?
Actually, yes, interesting that you mentioned mobile there. We do actually at some point in the future want to do like mobile support as well, and that's the sort of thing where if the game obviously was to do like super well and has raised a ton of money, it's like we could easily look at doing that sort of thing, like, you know, in the future. Same with like the Android support and all that. A lot of future plans to look for.
Alright, I think my cruiser is going to die here. This is not going to go well.
That sounds good to me then. I like it. I like it.
It's a kamikaze mission, essentially. Alright, that's about all I can do. No, wait, hang on. It's there are still active battles, apparently. Do I... Oh, I'm probably missing something here.
Let's see.
Oh, I haven't. Right. No, I forgot I put a gun battery there.
Yes, that's what it was. Okay, the gun batteries will can attach. Easy to miss that one.
Alright, managed to defend one of my sectors. Success. There's some small success.
Yay, small successes.
Right, I don't think I can I move you? No, okay. Let's put frigate out there. Want to trade up anything? Well, I've done a trade and I didn't actually think about it. Whoopsie.
Yeah, good idea to think about it. Definitely a good idea to think through everything.
I was thinking. Oh, I had a plan in mind and I didn't follow through with it. Yeah. Also, with looking at Steam as well. Once the game is out, are we looking at early access release, or are we going straight out for a full release once it's available?
Nino, I'll let you jump in on that one. You haven't said anything in a while.
Oh, that I think we're not entirely sure on that yet. I think we're leaning more towards early access, just since we do kind of have a functional game right now, so might as well let people play it and kind of see what they think about it and be able to change it while we still can, maybe.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I think player input from early access might be very useful. At the same time, though, it's like when I guess at the conclusion of the Kickstarter campaign, we've got a set time frame as well before the actual release. So sometime during that phase, of course, we'll be looking at the early access. What are you looking at in terms of when it's released onto Steam, the kind of feature list or additional things between Kickstarter and Steam release? So what are we looking at adding in?
So one of my favorite things that we want to add in is called blueprints. So blueprints are, and correct me if I'm wrong, Trevor, basically cards that are going to modify your ships in game. So of course you can build your deck beforehand, but then you can kind of modify it on the fly after you see what your opponent has. So not only will a blueprint modify a ship's abilities, it's also going to modify it how it appears in game after we get all of our 3D models and stuff, which I found kind of just really neat.
That actually sounds really nice. I think I would actually like to see that with kind of, I guess, maybe to call it player customization, having a little bit of extra flavor to it, and being able to visually see the changes as you're making it throughout the game. So when that's out, of course, further along the line, then we're looking at a mobile platform as well. In terms of actual differences between mobile and PC, I guess that's much further down the line. Are there any issues that you might foresee with porting it to mobile?
I think really the biggest challenge we face right now is that we want to make it so that no matter where you're logged in, either on your PC or on mobile, like your account is still going to be the same. You'll still have the same deck and everything. So basically enabling all of those devices to speak to each other. And if somebody's playing on PC and your friend's playing on mobile, you can still battle with each other. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges we face so far, but our programmer is really awesome, and he's been in the industry for like 20 freaking years, man. So I have faith in him, and I think we're adding 1 or 2 more programmers. We have Omari, who's also a programmer. We might add another one. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, Trevor.
Everything's possible. Definitely could happen.
Alright, very nice, very nice. Okay, so now we're going to throw the ball to the audience now, if anyone has any questions for the developers. While they're still with us here, what would you like to ask them about GalaCollider or the company in general?
Ooh, questions. Fun.
Of course, stream delay.
Yes, it'll take a little while for those questions to show up. But at least we got a fun little game here to play in the meantime.
Oh yeah.
All right. What we got here? Okay, that's the end of your gun battery. I'm bombing it to oblivion now.
No.
No more batteries for you.
No, save me, Dreadnought. Okay, Condor is asking, what's your estimated price tag for the game when it releases?
So the game when it releases, oh, sorry, busy highway. When it releases, it's actually going to be free to play. So, of course, you can pay for things either by playing the game and getting in-game currency, or you can, of course, just straight up pay money for packs. I think the typical pack will run maybe about, I think it's $5 or $6. And the way we actually are doing GalaCollider is that we like to call it an expandable card game, not a collectible card game. Because with collectible card games, you know, you'll buy a pack and it's a blind pack, so you don't know what's in it. GalaCollider, we're very adamant that we don't want to do that. And that when you buy a pack, you're going to know the exact cards you're getting in there, as well as like how many of each. So that way you're better able to deck build and kind of strategically do that.
Okay. So we're looking at mainly things like card packs as the... I guess if we compare it to other card games that's out right now, that seems pretty familiar for players. So I think that should be quite nice, actually. I'd be looking forward to that. And free to play, of course. Let's see what we got. Manson is asking, how will the new UI feel in terms of spacing? The current one feels a little bit cramped, almost claustrophobic. And in brackets, bonus points if you make a 4K resolution UI. So, what are we looking at in terms of the UI in future? I just lost the game.
Yeah, I got 2 victory points. I took over that last sector and made it to 52, which put me over the edge.
One of the really big UI things we want to do, and it's currently set at as a stretch goal right now, are zoom levels. So we currently, as you can see, you only have one zoom level, like you can see around the planets and move your ships. But what we would like to implement, and what we've already prototyped actually, is a 3-layer zoom. So you'll see the entire galaxy, and then you can zoom in on a planet, and then zoom in on a specific battle on that planet too. Let me try and find a picture, because of course it's going to be way easier to show you a picture instead.
Yeah, definitely. That's an exciting feature. I'm actually looking forward to that one, because that basically would give the Manson there exactly what he wants, is the differences to like, kind of zoom out, zoom in, and change the way it looks, make it look a lot nicer. It's a cool feature. Definitely something I'm looking forward to having. I do have, by the way, another game up if you want to join that while we just answer these last couple of questions. We can kind of see where that one goes.
I just did, and I decided to choose the other race this time.
Ah, perfect.
And we're actually able to see just how the sort of map is generated. So we're looking at a very, very different map from the last one we were playing. This is almost tent-like in shape.
Yeah, and right away you can see there's multiple different ways to get to your opponent. That kind of like opens up different options that really didn't exist in that last game, where it was kind of like, okay, one path only.
Yeah. Alright, I'm going to try to play this one a little bit smarter then. No promises.
Well, now you know what you're doing, so it's a big difference. The first game's always just learning, you're bumping through everything, and now you're kind of like, I understand what I'm doing now.
Well, I wouldn't say I understand it yet. Okay. Do we have any more questions from the viewers right now?
I can see that Nina posted a deleted link, so good job, Nina, breaking those rules.
I tried.
Bots don't like links.
Yeah, Twitch is a little bit funny about that. At least my bot didn't get you for it. Right, let me see if I can copy that. Just send it to my moderator.
Now that you're playing the Sylph this time around, I'll actually say, if you click on the core world for the Sylph, you'll notice that it says draw a card each time you build a frigate. This faction, whereas the other one was more on like dreadnoughts, this one's more based around frigates, and it actually kind of plays a lot more aggressively and quicker than the other faction does. A lot of the ships here, you'll notice, can actually move multiple times a turn instead of just once a turn. And they're like cheaper ships, and like obviously with frigates, you're drawing a lot of cards from your deck, so you can get to your like tech pool faster because you're drawing more often. So they kind of have has like a different feel and play to it than the other races.
It sounds very Zerg Rushy in that sense. A lot of small ships in a way.
Like you said before, maybe it's more like a Terran is the coalition. There's like the Zerg kind of guys, something like that.
Yeah, it's vastly different playstyle then.
Yes, these are definitely the more aggressive guys.
And I can see the cards themselves, or at least the cards that I have right now, very different art as well. I gotta say though, even at this early stage, it looks. I like the design of it. I do like that. Right, I don't think there's anything more I can do that turn. Okay.
You draw a card for like the sake of it, just to fill out your deck.
Oh yeah, actually, I can do that.
Yes, the key is like if you do, you have a discard. So maybe you don't want to discard. Maybe you do. Depends.
Okay, I think I can go and take over that one there. Nice that. Also, I like the fact that the map still shows, like, you see the sectors at a distance, but when you go into it, then you can actually see more detail and all that. That's a very nice touch. In fact, like, different looking planets and all that just adds to the overall, I guess, solar system kind of feel to it, which is very nice.
Yeah.
Alright, we've got a question here. I know you guys want to improve your current art assets, but what about sound as well? I guess sound is another thing that's definitely going to be included. Music and all of that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We actually have a guy who works on that in particular, so it'll get done.
Yeah, right now we have Sam, who is kind of more of a classical composer, to do a soundtrack. We also have Viking Guitar Productions. If anybody knows him and kind of listens to him, he's on board as well. And we've got, honestly, a whole bunch of really, like, I am surprised we got this one person, but I unfortunately cannot say who it is. Actually, I think we're still in talks with them. I was like, oh my god, I fangirled a little. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I can't wait to hear more about that, that's for sure. I'm one of those people that I'm just a fan of sci-fi and classical music, or classical-ish music, a little bit of rock riff in there. Perfect.
Nice.
Not a big fan of the old sort of electro kind of dubsteppy thing that every game tries to do now, more on the classical side of things. But personal preference, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, do we have any further questions here? Just want to look. They're asking for sound snippets and teasers and the Kickstarter.
Not a bad idea, actually. Not a bad idea.
Yeah, actually, that would be kind of nice. Have a little bit of a taste of what it's going to be like. Alright, I think I'm gonna do that. Oh, right, I need to discard something. Yes. Okay, so before we end there, then, I think that's all the questions that we have for now. Before we end, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, for me personally, definitely if you could back us on our Kickstarter, I'd love that. Take a look at us, see if you like it. I believe in the game. I think it's a great game, and I'd love any support I can get. Nina, over to you.
Same. Pretty much. I mean, even if you can't back us, if you can maybe like tweet about us or Facebook share us, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be very, very helpful for more people knowing about it, of course, and I'm glad to have been able to chat with you guys about it and to take a look at this game, because personally, never been a huge fan of 4X, but I think this is something, because of just how accessible it is with the cards, something that I could actually get into. Genuinely.
Yeah, definitely, I would say a good gateway to a 4X. You could take it as like a stepping stone, and then if you want to jump into a bigger 4X game later, you could do that, or you can just stick to this.
Right, okay, thank you very much for coming on board. Trevor and Nina, again, from Neocrux Games, developers of GalaCollider. Kickstarter now live. Go and check them out and take a good look at what they have in store. This is just a small look at the game as it is right now, but of course we can expect things to improve as time goes on. Of course, following a successful Kickstarter, we should see some very, very good things from these guys. Thank you very much for coming on, and go and check them out. They're available on facebook.com/GalaCollider, and you can follow them on Twitter at twitter.com/NeocruxGaming. Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for having us.
Yep, thank you for having us.